That's how Kyle should have originally approached the conversation with Paige. West is grossing me out so much I can't stand it. And they are really playing with us with the whole Sierra, what's his name, Jesse thing. And if that's going to be a nothing burger, don't do that to me, Bravo.
Yeah.
Welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth. If you like stuff like that, like and subscribe. Hey, gang.
Did you hear that Andy Cohen might be leaving?
What?
It's a light rumor, but it's being picked up. And
I
don't
do not
know.
believe.
Like I was trying to think, like Ryan Seacrest was like such an easy replacement. Not that Pat Sajak could ever be replaced in our hearts, but like there's a guy that will step in when Pat Sajak can no longer do it. His name's Ryan Seacrest. Very, very clear heir apparent.
Yes.
I cannot think of who does that for Bravo is Andy. Andy is Bravo.
Yes.
Like,
why would he abdicate the throne?
I don't know. Like Nick and Vanessa Lachey, it's like they're the worst reunion
Yeah.
hosts. Like you just can't rely on them to get any juice. Vanessa would literally say, and I think we can move on from that. When we're like, no. we just got here and this is all we're here for.
Yeah.
Please.
We're about to find out if he's the dad.
Yeah.
God damn it, Vanessa.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I can't take another hit this year.
Yeah.
I need Andy to stay where he is. Okay, Andy?
Yeah.
Thank you and good day, sir.
Maybe he wants a little bouquet time with the kids.
I think
They grow up so fast, you know.
I heard a rumor that Andy will be stepping down. And the only reason I would think that this is going to happen is A, he didn't think it through.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he can change his mind. Or there's something that between him and the powers that be have agreed to this because there's some disgruntled somebody that has been shushed in return of him leaving, which these are just my thoughts based on a very light rumor that I have heard.
Yeah.
If it's because he thinks there's greener grass doing a brand new show, I'm going to say, Andy, do not leave. And Bravo, Peacock, don't let him go.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants him replaced.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see some young buck girl or guy replace him on Watch What Happens Live. And I would say if the idea is, oh, but his kids are growing older, he wants to spend more time with them, I disagree as a working mom doing a weekly show, and I was not the host, so I did not have the freedom you have. And you could tape it earlier in the day, and you could tape it 4 shows in 2 days or whatever it is.
Kind of like what he does now, no?
Yes. And then you could change the times if you want. You could do it at noon.
Wait, when someone says a light rumor, do you think that means that they just heard it from like 1.5 persons?
It was on Dumois. And then it was on, and then this guy, I think it was him that said, like, I heard it from a reliable source.
Okay, so that's my 1.5 because Dumois is like half.
Yeah, exactly.
And one is,
and then this guy is like always on her show and does this. You know, once you're doing this is your gig. Like you've kind of got your finger on the pulse. And I also just think it could easily be, salary negotiations. You put it out there that you're open to, I don't know, I've got kids now. I'm just looking to spend more time at home and be with them, join the PTA. And then Bravo starts to hear people start freaking out, start getting some emails, start getting the tweets. And then that's all very basic.
Negotiation 101.
101. Yeah. I'm like, I could conspire that in my sleep, come up with that theory in my sleep. So
it's a layup.
So I don't know, but like before she even said the thing about like it could be like something happened and this is like they've made a quiet agreement to leave. I don't know if that's happened, but like I do feel like there was a year where he was just kind of in it with her name,
Bethany Frankel.
Bethany, but
and then
also Brandy had some weird accusations. I feel like there was someone else, and I don't know. Those could be completely nothings, but that's an option too, I guess.
Prediction. You heard it here first. This one. Maybe not. Maybe someone said
never.
It's
always heard it here last.
I think that all these things could be true. Contract negotiation, old school. Also, though, Andy's kind of Andy Cohen. Like, so do you need any tactics, really? Like, again, not saying it's not possible, but I just feel like Andy's like, I want more money. And Bravo's like, yeah, man, whatever, dude. take it all.
You have the checkbook, write your own check.
You did your own deal. Well, who are you asking me for?
Yeah.
I was about to come to you for more money. So like, I don't know if that's a thing. I work in television. I've worked in television for a long time. I think you're going to start seeing more television people renegotiating their deals or wanting to take breaks or not go on TV anymore because all these people are making so much money on the internet doing shows and podcasts and talk shows, and it's not YouTube for kittens anymore. It's YouTube and TikTok and Patreon for careers, and they're making more money. They're getting more views. The ads are all there. Like the advertisers are all there. So I don't know if it's so much Andy tacticking as much as it is Andy saying, this is my worth. Nobody's arguing. But Bravo's like, bro, yes, totally. We don't have it. We don't have that money anymore. We can't afford an Andy Cohen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the way that people watch Bravo shows, just like the way, like the people that are watching us, we're not on Bravo, but they are coming here to watch us talk about Bravo shows. So the audience will go where the people are that are talking about the Bravo shows and that are able to get the Bravo celebrities on their show. So if Andy decides like, I'm now doing Watch What Happens Live in my basement, and he calls it Watch What Happens in My Basement, we'll all turn on YouTube and watch it happen in his basement. So like that's how hardcore the audience will go with Andy. So I don't even know what the network would have as leverage unless they literally said, we'll give you, like, you will own half our network.
Well, he's a producer on a lot of the shows. It would be like a lot to unknot, right?
Yeah.
Not that it couldn't happen, but he's a producer on a majority of the shows. I'm sure he works in development to some extent.
I think Andy started in development at Bravo.
Yeah, no,
wasn't
he
that
did.
his job?
Yeah.
He was like a development guy in Bravo and then worked his way up.
Also, Boston University alum like me.
Oh.
And Bethany Frankel and Howard Stern and lots of really cool people. Carolyn
Cool.
Kennedy.
Go Lakers.
Anyway.
Boston.
How about this? Maybe he's so powerful that he could work a deal that is, okay, I'm going to pull myself off of Watch What Happens Live and I'm going to do Watch What Happens in My Basement, but I still want to do all the reunions because he knows people love seeing him at the reunions and people don't deal well with change.
Yeah.
And what if you get some person in there that's lovely but just can't toe the company line, and then all of a sudden the ratings tank because of it, and he has so much invested in the network. I just feel like
I feel like this has all got to have way more to do with Watch What Happens Live than anything else. I bet you he's trying to move that. He's trying to probably just do his own show of that and it not be affiliated with Bravo. Like he would own the whole thing.
I don't know if he could own the rights to Watch What Happens Live.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean, he would change the name and you're doing a show in your basement. Watch What Happens in My Basement.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Bill Maher has been on TV for 30 billion years doing essentially the same show. And now he's doing a podcast on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
it
is
sucks.
Probably right.
It really sucks.
Sure, but he's probably right at that tipping point of being like, and he's joked about it sort of at the beginning of this year. I'm not going to do my show anymore. Next season, he might be like, I don't even make that much money on my show. And he stopped touring. So maybe he's like, no, I'm going to make a cool 10 mil a year sitting in my basement talking to my friends.
Yeah.
Thanks. Peace out. So I just think it's just a shift. There's a big shift happening. And you're going to start, I think you'll start seeing a lot of that in the next couple of years.
Well,
that's what we did. We took our show from the networks and said
no more.
Like,
yeah,
listen,
we're not doing that.
We want to
for
make
you
this
guys
kind of money.
anymore.
Yeah,
Not working
Fox.
hard for the man.
Yeah. You heard of YouTube?
I'll do this for free.
Yeah. Wait, we're not getting paid?
Yet.
What do you mean?
All right, are we top of the popsing it, kids?
Yeah.
I love this show. Even when it's a more calm, placid episode, I still love it. I want to be on the show. If I don't want to be friends with people, I want to just like sit there and watch them drink their lover boy. I want to be in the car ride to and fro. I want it all.
Yeah, we're getting back to the reason why this has taken over first place for me in the reality show world from Jersey Shore.
Wait a minute. This show beats out Jersey Shore for you now?
100%. because of like Jersey Shore, like I've talked about in I don't know episode a while back. I like friends that seem like family, and Jersey Shore was like the first show that I was ever like, dude, you guys, I don't even think you know each other, but it seems like you do. Like you guys got like just the closeness of that little group I fell in love with. And then this show was that plus the fantasy fulfillment of, sorry, Glitter, going to a share house with all your friends every summer. Like that to me, dream come true, right? So it's Jersey Shore with an added like equally amazing element for me. And I think that
but they were
getting
also
back
in
to
the
that.
house.
Huh?
I feel like the element is the same element because they were also in a house in Jersey Shore. But because it wasn't a nice house?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's, I didn't think about that, but maybe. And they had to work and stuff. Like it wasn't a vacation. It was a reality show setting, you know? So it never,
But they were there together all summer. They didn't go to and fro.
Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
just
That part never, part, that the fantasy fulfillment of
nice house in the Hamptons.
Maybe it was the Jersey Shore. I never fantasy fulfilled myself of going to the Jersey Shore.
Have you ever been to the Jersey Shore?
Touche. I have not.
Just like, you know.
But I've been to
It's the
Hollywood
best.
Boulevard, and it seems like Hollywood Boulevard on the beach. I'm kidding.
I mean, that Jersey Shore kind of is,
Yeah.
but not. There are many Jersey
Sure,
Shores,
sure.
and they're everything.
There's only one Hamptons, though.
Listen,
not to
nobody
be
in
snotty,
the
but
Hamptons is dragging their twin bed into a Snooki's room because they're pissed off at Polly.
Or
actually,
headbutting
no
a
one was ever
concrete
pissed off
wall.
at Polly.
No.
That was a horrible reference.
Well, maybe Paige and his wardrobe fitting or wardrobe choices. But anywho's, I think, yes, this beat it out because the fantasy fulfillment for me, that was the added thing. And I just think the last few episodes, we're kind of getting back to that of just like good old fashioned summer house of like show up, get wasted, fight. I'm also like, I don't know if this is a new thing. I'm old now, so I don't really remember anything. But like these adult conversation things that are happening, the Craig and Austin, different show, the Paige and Kyle to start off this show.
Yep.
And like you said in the opening, like, yeah, that's probably how Kyle should have handled it. But he didn't. He's Kyle. Kyle doesn't handle things appropriately. He handles them inappropriately and then it acknowledges that that was not the right way to do things. But I am all in on these adult conversations.
I love it too.
Yeah, I feel like we're about to get shit on though.
I just thought that conversation was like less than nothing. It was like a kindergarten level conversation that, I mean, I don't think any of us were really waiting for like what they were going to say because we all knew it had to unwind from there. And like, really it was just like to set up the Craig talk, like
But
to give a little teaser for what's to come. It was
Yeah.
really nothing was handled in there. And I felt bad for Kyle in that conversation a little bit. Like,
Because in this conversation, it's how what we were saying last week. We did feel bad that like he's worked so, we said like we have empathy for him that he's worked so hard on this business and clearly it means everything to him financially, emotionally, all of the above, but he just handled it so wrong. And so then when he does sit there like a grown up and say, hey, this is why I'm upset, this is what's going on, then you actually have more space to be like, you know what, I'm going to go buy a lover boy and I don't even drink because I just want to support this dum-dum because this is his pattern. Having just watched every episode, he always handles it wrong and then he comes back and does the right thing. And that's why I don't hate Kyle because he does learn from it, but then he like has amnesia and messes it up again, but then comes back. It's like he's on some weird rinse and repeat. Does that make sense?
yeah, that's
You
not
don't
why
agree.
I felt bad for him.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Go on.
No, listen, we're
I
all
mean,
here
I'm
to
with you. I
say
have that
what
same
we
no. It's why I
think.
said in the beginning of like the first. I mean, we just started this show on YouTube, so like, I think our first episode we kind of went down the road of why we like everybody or don't like everybody, and that's one of the things. Whether it's real or a show, that is, I'm with you. I think Kyle does a lot of dumb shit, and then he seemingly always says, "Well, that was some dumb shit. My bad. I'm sorry." And I don't think the talk was nothing in elementary. When Paige was like, I told Craig not to do this, like that seemed like a little something that didn't get unpacked, as the kids say. that, like, I was like, wait, what? What the hell? What was that? I told Craig not to. You told Craig not to do what? Not do it like this? Not do it at all? So wait, Craig didn't even listen to Paige? I'm not gonna jump ahead to dinner, but like we had talked about, I have a like, I don't know, not a new theory, but like a new just a new
revelation.
Yeah, I guess on why Craig was okay to eventually have that relationship end.
Okay, don't forget it because you have to tell us when we get to the dinner.
TBD. I think we'll see what happens.
Well, write it down.
I did.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't. But I'll remember. I would like to know what she meant. I'd like to know more about what that meant. I told Craig not to do it. That seems like Craig's not listening to you either, because she even had a little look on her face like, I told him not to do it. You guys are more important in my friendship. We're always going to be friends. We all know what happens not a few months from now, in real life.
But that also is why I think conversations like that between Paige and Kyle is why Kyle, post breakup, is riding so hard for Paige. Also, it's a great avenue for him to get his latent anger out at Craig, or like the anger that he couldn't maybe voice as much before. But not to jump ahead, because I want to know what Natalie thinks, why she was annoyed with
because she hates
the conversation and Kyle, and why you felt bad for him.
I do hate Kyle. Like, Paige does not like Kyle. Like, I gun to my head, I'll tell you, Paige does not like Kyle. She tolerates him. If Amanda were to part ways amicably in a 50-50 split with alimony, something along
and get
those
the
lines,
dogs,
and get the dogs, she would have never even wasted a beat on having this conversation with him. He actually does know this on some level and is trying to force a connection with her now by confronting her with how upset he is. Like, she comes from a really strong family, so she respects the family unit. She knows that, like, that's your husband, that's respect, that's like
also
all the
Italian.
things.
That's like a big Italian thing.
Yeah. She knows that's a losing battle. Like, you don't go against your friend's husband.
You don't go against
ready,
the family.
Yeah. Until they're ready to bail, you don't do it. I think that Kyle has learned after going after Hannah that she's got a fan base. Paige has if Hannah has a fan base, Paige's is that times however many other that just aren't just the gigglers. They're fashion people. They're
summer
Italians.
house people.
They're everything. In reality, making her feel bad for him might actually be his only play, because he's got nothing else to offer that Paige would find valuable. So he's going with sympathy. He's going the sympathy route. Paige has a heart. If he's coming to her and being like, I'm so sorry, it means so much to me, you're my best friend. Like, if you keep telling someone they're your best friend, even though if you're telling me that, I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I am not your best friend. I barely like you. I'm barely tolerating you. I'm not a horrible person. I'm going to immediately feel some sympathy for that person and give them a little bit more. I think he's playing all the cards that he has, his wife's best friend, and the fact that his business is going on. Like, he's having a really hard year, I think. He needs Paige. And I think he knows that she is literally just tolerating him because of circumstances. So that's what I mean when I say I feel bad for him, because I think he's not totally stupid. Like, he knows this. He has no self-control. He has a brain. He just can't control himself. I think he sees these things.
Now I want to rewatch that scene through that lens just to see if that's...
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it would be something that you would... in his behavior, I would say that it's, if you've watched the entire, which you are watching the entire thing, they are always arguing. Yeah. She always, like, when she literally said in the last episode, he is so lucky that his wife is who she is, or I would go up and down him like she would have nothing for him. He would not be in her Rolodex if it weren't for her. She would have probably gotten him kicked off the show. Like, she just doesn't have any need for him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's breaking news.
And let me also answer that last thing though about why I think that Paige told Craig not to do it. I think that Paige just knew, like, she does everything for Amanda. So her saying, don't do this, there's a million trillion companies out there. Seltzer's this one thing out of like this broad, like, everyone wants to do business with you right now. Don't do the seltzer. It's just I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to deal with Kyle. He's going to cry about it. He's going to get in the driver's seat. That's why I think, if we're wondering why she would recommend maybe no go, then I think that's why. But I also don't think that she would ever recommend he get into business with Kyle either. I don't think it was an either or thing for her. I don't think
She was
it was
probably just
like
stay out of it
stay out
completely.
of it, move on, just leave it in the rear view. We don't need seltzer. Find something else. That's what I think.
Okay. I think
Listen,
that's some
that's
bad
what I
advice, Paige, if that was the case.
Gave him some bad advice.
Like not to get into a alcohol brand.
I think she's just
That
meant to
sold
say
at
like she
Target?
doesn't want to deal with it. Paige is very sort of like, but what's in this for me? You know,
Yeah,
like,
well,
what am I
exactly.
going to
Which
have
is
to
why,
deal with
like,
because
her
you're doing that?
not being friends with Kyle, and if they got divorced, like of course she would go with Amanda. Of
It's not
course,
just
like
going with Amanda.
Courtney
Like,
likes me. We like each other, and
Yeah.
if we got divorced, Courtney's
See you
not
later,
calling
Mark.
me for a fucking lunch. Like,
Nope.
We're done. Like we broke up.
Don't
that's a
even
wrap.
remember who
guys,
you
like,
are.
But Kyle really wants to be Paige's friend. Like he really, that's
Courtney
why he's
really
going.
wants to be my friend.
That's why he's going hard for her in all these interviews. Is because he's like, I'm gonna be right there because
Listen,
she's.
I think all you're saying is totally true. Like I don't think it. I just don't like. Yes, Kyle's gonna have a rough year. Kyle's probably gonna lose his business soon. He's grasping at straws. He's super extraordinarily pissed that somebody did a deal with another brand because, like, bro, I'm on the fucking brink here. The least you can do is not do any, like, just not do any
Yeah.
deal. Like, and
Yeah.
then Hannah's talking. I agree with all of that. I don't think. Yes, I think Paige is Amanda's friend, and but yes, all of that. But that goes back to Paige not needing anybody really. Like
Yeah.
Paige doesn't need Craig. Paige doesn't need dudes. Fine, not arguing, not complaining, but that's how you were built. That's how mom made you.
Yeah.
And you're running with it. And so, whatever. Well, I don't know how that works out, whether it's good or bad, but Paige, men are useless for Paige.
I think
know.
Paige needs
Isn't
her
that
girlfriends.
interesting?
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
Not
She
girls,
She will do
definitely.
anything to
But
keep
men, boys,
Sierra
like-
and Amanda.
Yeah, no, because
Male-
Mike just said
Hannah.
Paige doesn't need anything. So I was just
Oh,
clarifying
yeah.
that, like,
From
no, I
men.
think she's
From
ride
men.
or die with her
Yeah.
girls.
From men.
It's
Got it.
interesting that it's just interesting to me that it's that way. That she really they could go extinct, and I don't think it would bother her, except for she'd be like, "Well, how am I supposed to get laid?"
I think she'd
like-
figure it out.
But
Like,
yeah,
I think she'd figure it out, and in
yeah.
a couple
She'd
weeks
be like,
be
"Is it
like,
Elon-
Lindsay, strap this
This
on. Let's
is
take it for a run.
freaking
Isn't Elon making a
amazing.
robot or
Yeah.
something that I saw Kim Kardashian
Dude,
hanging out with the other
she'd
day?
probably
like,
end
she
up
might just-
mad at
yeah.
God or whoever created and be like, why did you even, what was the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Like I get it, and then you
cool.
made
We all
us,
make
and that's when it
mistakes.
all.
Everyone has a prototype.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, right. That men were the prototype.
You guys
to
are
Paige.
V2, 2.0.
You're the iPhone with the button.
Yeah.
I think that Danielle, who is oddly not bothering me yet this season, and normally, who had said it? Someone in our comments, was it Christy Sheeks,
Probably.
who was just like, I can't stand Danielle. She drives me nuts.
And I'm back on that train again.
Okay, so she normally bothers the ever-loving daylights out of me, but for some reason, I think because the rose-colored glasses are off Danielle,
Yeah.
and she's seeing Lindsay for exactly who she is, at least for this small moment in time, she's not irritating me that much. Like when they're on the beach and Lindsay's telling her, yeah, no, he's not going to move in till we think it's the right time. Like, we want to take our time to be thoughtful. And Danielle's like, you're pregnant with his kid. So if we were adhering to timelines, maybe you lost the plot there, lady.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just think it's great to finally see her just be a normal person when you're talking to Lindsay, and not everything Lindsay says is, you're right, and I ride for you, and that's amazing, and Carl's an idiot, and
I know. I just feel like she's doing it at such a weird time because what's your take on like this Danielle?
I think I'm on the fence. I am like, it's, yeah, great, Danielle. It's nice to see her out of Lindsay's like clutches and like one of her little minions. I hate little minion friends, or people who like make their
Yeah.
friends like their little bow down,
Yes.
kiss my ring type people. But I also think like I might be like, what? Whoa, guy. Hey,
people
baby.
love Minnie.
Minnie
You have to give the
Poppins.
people what they
Say
want.
something for Christy, Minnie. Say something.
There you go. Good job, Minnie.
Well,
Okay, so you were saying though the Danielle thing.
it's weird to see someone who doesn't really have a place on a reality show anymore fight for that place without doing some scandalous things, just try. I'm not hating on Danielle. I think she's made me laugh multiple times already this season, but I don't remember what you were starting to say, but say it, because I think I'm also
Okay.
leaning towards this.
So Danielle has chosen to be non-adverse to Lindsay for 9 seasons, essentially 8 seasons, I guess.
Yeah.
But almost 9. I don't know. And now she's just picking a time where like I am finding like this is Lindsay's least obnoxious season. And like I'm like, we could have used you in the bottom of the 9th and you blew us off. And now you're gonna come after her. First of all, you didn't know the guy didn't live there? Are you guys friends? Like, it seemed like everything she was like hearing was news to her. Like, did you ride here with Lindsay? Did she tell you like that this guy lives with her or doesn't? I also like, I don't have a problem with Lindsay doing this on her own. Lindsay could do 7 husbands' jobs. Like if anybody could be a solo mom, like, yes, we want every kid to have 2 parents. It's a great experience to have 2 people, all hands on deck. It takes a village, yada, yada. But like, if anyone's not going that route, I could put Lindsay in that route real easy and be like, oh, she's got this.
Yeah.
So I just think she's coming for her in very weird ways. And it's also like reeking of desperation that like, I swear to God, Danielle, do you have anything going on in your own life? Like, I don't know what's going on. You're picking on someone though, that's like, it's not a good time to pick on Lindsay. Like everyone is going to come to her aid more than they ever have. If I'm saying that, it's a guarantee that a lot of people are not.
Also,
going
historically,
to agree.
when someone's pregnant on a reality TV
Yeah.
show, they have a very pleasant season because no one's
Yeah.
picking on the pregnant lady.
No,
and
and she's not causing any trouble.
I was just
and
gonna
she's
say-
caused nothing but trouble
Yeah.
for so long.
all your energy is taken up because
Yeah.
you're creating a human. So she's just in bed with her weird.
Yeah, she's going to
labor
bed early
pillow.
and like
Yeah.
all the things that we hoped for, she's doing,
Totally.
So I just think it's a weird moment to
I'm
choose.
still here for it though. Even if it's ill-timed, she's picking on the wrong person or like picking the wrong battles with the right person. I don't care. I'm just so happy to see her out of, like Mike said, the clutches of Lindsay.
Yeah. But could you maybe think that these are still the clutches, but in a different way? Like her world is still revolving around Lindsay, but like not in just like the normal way that like you would spot right away. Like she just seems to still only be reacting to Lindsay or like reacting to things that are just sort of negative. She just sort of seems to be I was like,
But Danielle's, if I remember correctly, and you just
she
watch
was so
everything.
nice before.
No,
No.
Danielle was always the one that was like, she's like, what's her Mia on Southern Charm or Southern Hospitality, just like or JT. Like they're just always popping up and being like, hey, shit talk. I'll be over here in the corner.
Yeah,
Like
and
just
don't
dropping
forget,
little
being
grenades
mean
everywhere.
all those
she's
years.
a little shady. Don't
Yeah.
you remember how she planted that story with Demois about Craig getting kicked out of Kyle and McCall's wedding? And at the reunion, Paige went after Lindsay and was like, I know you planted that story. And Danielle's just like, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
And then finally, Lindsay was just like, it was Danielle, like, get off my jock. And I just feel like Danielle does those little things.
Yeah.
And that's shady to me about her. And also when she's on Winter House, she can be so unhinged and so blind to the signals that a dude is sending her.
Oh, yeah.
That I just feel like
Yeah.
she doesn't. And so the reason I say those things is because she doesn't read social cues well to me, period.
No,
like when,
no.
When Gabby was having a bad moment last season and Danielle goes up to her and she's like, it says all this stuff and it wasn't really sensitive or taking into account that your friend's in a bad moment. And when Danielle went into the bathroom to start, Gabby goes into the bathroom and like starts crying, Paige comes out and it says, what are you doing? This is your friend. Why are you talking to her like this? And she just says, listen, as a founder and a CEO, I know how to talk to people. Right. Thank you, Mike. And this is my point. Danielle's always just missing the mark like that.
Okay. I'm like I can remember all those times now. Doesn't that seem like that happened later in the seasons? Like there was many, like majority of, like she's gotten weird. She's gotten weirder and weirder over the last 3 years.
Well, I think she got a little, like, I can't remember. I was just sitting here thinking, like, what was Danielle's story? Like, what was her business? What was her thing? And now I remember that line and just being like, what? Because again, there's only certain people that say that. There's only certain people, and again, still on Team Paige, but like there's the type of person that's like, I'll buy Loverboy and sell it. Like, that's a fucked up thing to say, right? Like,
Badass things.
I'm okay with it.
Maybe, but like it's also fucked up, right? And that's your wife's company, or
Hey,
that's your best
Kyle,
friend's company.
That's bailout.
Dude, he's probably
That's a good
watching
friend.
that being
Mergers
like,
and acts.
hey, do you think she
Mergers
was
and acts.
serious?
I know.
How
Go
much
into
you think
business
she'll
with
pay?
Paige DeSorbo. Let me tell you.
Dude, that would be-
do it.
Yeah.
First change.
Yeah.
But no,
Scratching
she
out the
can't
boy,
now
lover,
because then
girl.
Kyle gets
Yeah.
the upper hand. What were we saying?
Danielle.
What was her company?
So basically
founder and
she
CEO.
no, so
fucking
she
bullshit?
worked. She came on the show and she was working as a in development for apps for other people, like
That's
other people's
right.
apps.
She
And
had
then
it and
she
then
had
made
an
her own
idea
app.
for an app
Yeah,
called Dawn, which is
fart
a
or
clothing app.
something. Oh, that's right.
And then she broke out on her own and started her own app and got funding and all this stuff. But I don't know if it's going that well.
It's
Doesn't seem
having a
like it.
hard time. I've seen some people on interviews and they were like, it's a great concept.
Great concept.
It's
I
a
remember- I
lot of
remember
work.
that,
And they're
yeah.
like, you know where it's called the Clueless app, I think, or they're calling
Dawn.
they call it the Clueless app because it's inspired. Like
Yeah.
it's like what
Cher's
we've,
Closet.
we've seen it on that movie Clueless. And they're like, you know where it works really well? On the movie. Like because you have to take photos of all of your things. Like you would have to take a day to take all of your things out of your drawers and on hangers and probably put them by themselves on a rolling rack bar, you know, and like it's just not something like I'm sure it would be very helpful. Are we going to do that? Like we can't even make it to Starbucks a mile down. We DoorDash it.
And it costs money.
We downloaded this thing because I can't even figure out what outfit to wear.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
definitely not going to take pictures of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that the last few years, when at least before we found out that it wasn't going to be what her founder CEO dreams thought it would be, she probably had a lot of confidence with the boyfriend who's a chef and going all over, and the company. Oh, I'm a founder. I just left I'm getting funding, and so like, I think that's why. If I remember, like. That's, I think, why Danielle was so weird. But she's still weird. Danielle, to me, has always been
Same.
weird and just kind of the awkward one. Yeah, I'm with you on the timing of it. It's kind of lame. But I'm also like, she just, again, it's so obvious now to see people grasp at straws who are like, I've been gone for a season or two. Nothing really happened. The show's still here. It's still popping off. I'm back. There's new girls. Like, am I gonna be a thing? Like it's gotta mess with you. Just living a normal life and having someone wonder if someone likes you or not can fuck with you. Being on a TV show where you're wondering if 1.6 million people every week like you, that's gotta
But also,
be
Danielle, you
tough.
hitched yourself to the wrong wagon or whatever
Maybe.
that saying is. Like,
Yeah, but she's
bet
still
on
here and like
No, but that's my she would probably be a mainstay on the show if she didn't hitch herself to Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay's just out for Lindsay and isn't that likable. So if you're the not so likable, selfish girl's best friend, you're going to get the kibosh faster than someone who's in with Paige and Sierra and
Like,
Amanda.
Who was, I don't, you guys are going to light me up, but whatever, it's the internet. Who's the main girl in Mean Girls? Like
Regina
the main
George.
girl? Okay, who's her like main buddy? That's Danielle.
Yes,
Danielle
totally.
is the sidekick, the little mean sidekick to the main mean girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's Danielle.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, her father invented toaster strudels.
Who's didn't?
Mine. Can we talk about Lindsay's life choices? Because I'm with you, and I think I've defended Lindsay like 3 times this season in 5 episodes.
Telling you,
I'm
like ready to
annoying.
switch over.
Whoa.
I know.
Okay.
It's
beep.
happening. And the only reason I'm not doing it is because
been
I'm
doing-
like, think this through.
Yeah,
what
let's
would
wait till
Christy do? What would Christy do? Like, that's all I think about. I'm like, because her and I agree on so many things. And I don't even I don't even think I know things until Christy says them. And then I'm like, oh, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's truly the only reason that I'm not just being like, whatever, Lindsay, come on down. Come on over.
Just wait till mid-season. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can switch teams, but wait till mid-season.
I think maybe it's the interviews that I'm watching her in lately. And I'm just watching her and being like, you're just doing your job. Like, you're just doing your job. And a lot of people are out and able to not do anything because you and Kyle are doing your jobs. And we're all the cool kids get to react to it and call what y'all are doing so uncool. And it is very uncool. And like, maybe you are that uncool. I'm believe me, I still think Kyle's an idiot. So like, I don't I'm sorry, I do. But we wouldn't have had an episode last week if there was no idiot for Paige to take down.
They wouldn't have a show. It's happened every year.
I know.
We
so
all wait for that
I'm
one
really
argument.
just trying to like, Lindsay often goes on and like what always annoyed me was that she would often go on shows and people would ask like how the pay structure works. And she would say, Kyle, Carl, and I all make the same amount. We set the range. In year 2, they're making what we made in year 2.
That sounds fair.
Right. But I always thought she was doing that to be able to tell us all that like she makes the most money on the show. No one makes more money than her. And the people that make as much as her, they just make equal. That's it. And they're guys. So she's the highest paying woman on the show. Like, I just thought she was like really like, okay, we get it. You make money. But there is something, now I'm looking at it, and I think she's trying to tell us that because she's like, they pay me to do the things that I do. I've been here the longest because I'm doing the things. I'm doing it with a smile. I'm doing it with a pep in my step. and I don't know if that's the case. That is a big benefit of the doubt that I am choosing to give her.
Huge.
But
big
like,
mistake.
I'm getting
Big.
the vibe.
Huge.
And I'm just trying to be open to the vibe that I'm getting as I'm open to all the vibes that I get and word vomit them all over this floor every night that we're here.
Lindsay is in her words, an activated human being.
Yes.
So I think she's amazing for the show. I think Kyle's amazing for the show. I love the balance of the salt and the pepper. You got some people that are spicy, some people that just want to react to the spicy people. It takes all kinds, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, I genuinely think that this is who Lindsay is.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, she absolutely knows how a show works. So when there was this scandal a few years ago that Kyle had gone out and cheated on Amanda for a second time.
Yeah.
But he was blackout drunk and he's like, I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I remember this episode.
Yes. And basically, if it was true, Amanda was just going to leave. And
Was she?
Well, that's what she says.
Yeah.
You can only go off what they say, right? And so Lindsay apparently, allegedly, knew this story before the show started airing. And she decided to wait to bring it until the show was airing. So here's the deal. Lindsay would have dropped that story regardless.
Yeah.
But she knows, like, her doing her quote unquote job is her bringing it when she knows, like, she's going to get the most ratings for it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, all of that I wasn't like saying that it was one or the other. Like, I think they're both totally. Yeah. I'm really realizing that, like, how lucky you would be to be on a show with someone who is not only naturally that way, but also survives however many seasons, is not stupid by any stretch, and sees that the fans hate her. How nice it must be for Paige to walk into work and get to be like, I'll handle this. And it be the side that all the normal minded thinking people are on. I just think it's a luxury. And Paige is naturally cool. So I'm not saying that she just gets to step into it, but it is nice to have that crazy on there that's like, no, I'll be that crazy. And I read the comments. I know everyone hates me, and I'm still going to do it. I
just also think Lindsay does live in, like, a land of her own delusions. And I think that she doesn't think she's as hated as she is.
You don't think she reads comments? They talk about how she's always in the comments.
I don't think
she's one of those people who is like, oh, you can always rely that if something's going on, Lindsay will be the first comment on there.
I stand by that. I don't think she thinks she's as hated as she is. Like, there are people, you know how sometimes I don't know if they still do this, but like back in the day when like red carpets were a thing and they would have the worst dress list, and there was always someone who was without fail on the worst dress list. They don't leave their house thinking they're the worst dressed. They're living in delusions of grandeur. And that's what I think Lindsay is. Lindsay's like, this person doesn't know, or like,
Yeah.
like I'm telling you, I think Lindsay, a legend in her own mind.
Yeah.
Very Ramona singer.
Ugh.
They're first cousins.
For a second, I thought you were serious. I'm
Oh,
like,
no. In my mind.
I'm like literally going, they do kind of look like.
Just something I wanted to highlight. We don't have to get into it because, again, it's probably just like a planting of the seed or whatever. They, again, and this has been a narrative on Southern Charm and on Summer House, they keep bringing up Craig is lying about stuff. Craig is a liar. The biggest liar on Bravo, that's Craig. Kyle said it again this episode. And it's just been a through line. So I just don't know. Are they going anywhere with this?
Well, I will mark the day. I am calling it now. This is the beginning of the demise of Craig.
What?
I just think they gave him a great season, a great ending, ended it with pink flamingos in the ladies' suites. Like, I think that they are going to, let's see how Craig does without the help of the editor, like the supportive editing team. And I think like it's a roller coaster. Everyone will talk about it. You got your highs and you got your lows. You've got your banner seasons. Like, I think that they're going to let Craig kind of fend for himself a little. And I got a tip for Craig if he wants any help. It was the girl I love. She was on the hills, not the hills. She was on the original Laguna Beach.
Kristen Cavallari.
Kristen Cavallari. So Kristen Cavallari.
Oh, they used to hook up.
So Kristen Cavallari is on tour with her podcast. Like everyone's doing a podcast tour.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'd say on a tour.
Oh, I do. Guys, buy tickets. Let's do this. Come on.
I mean, I just say what I'm saying now, but
On tour.
Actually, it would be much worse because there's real people there that, oh God, no, I think I'd rather die.
No, we're going to do, that's the goal.
I'm going to say, you guys are going to do great. I'm going to be in the audience with Christy. We're going to sit next to each other.
Christy, we'll swap you out.
Oh,
Christy
yeah,
can
Christy,
do the
do you
live
want
shows.
in?
Yeah. That'll be our thing.
True.
Courtney, I'll go on the road and we'll just swap out Christy,
I'll
Mary,
be in the
Joanne.
audience with
Judy.
Carly
Judy,
T and
everyone,
Judy
Carly,
and
Carlite.
no,
Editor
Carly T.
Danielle.
Carly T.
Oh.
Listen.
No,
and
for
Nettie-
now, forever, you're Carlite.
No, listen. I know because I keep calling Nettie, and then I look at, I'm like, God, it could be Natia, right? I'm like,
Oh,
it
I
could
was
be.
calling her Nettie too.
Yeah, but like,
it's
who knows?
Natia.
I think one day, hopefully, if we're so lucky to like be in a position to meet these people, they're all gonna be like, yeah, you guys have been butchering our names for like 3
No,
years.
your names in the comments.
Probably still gonna
Just
butcher
what-
it.
Phonetically spell it out.
Exactly.
Or
like,
don't if you get giggles out of how we butcher everyone's names.
Yeah, or do whatever you want.
But anyways, that might be our plan for our live shows.
Yeah.
So guest appearances by our crew.
Oh, and I'd obviously be sitting with ZB too, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Kristen Cavallari has been on tour and she just had some guests.
Okay, kiss Craig on the lips. Absolutely knew that was coming.
Drink.
That's true.
I can't do that, you guys. It would be everywhere.
Do a big hug. Do a big. They're flirting right now.
Kristen is a great kisser, by the way.
God, this has been so much fun.
Life's about timing.
This has been so much fun. It's been.
Kristen is a great kisser, by the way, he just said. And he said timing is everything.
They're definitely going to hook up again. They're going to revisit that.
Just look at these two.
Yeah, she's always loved that neckline, and it looks great on her.
That's a power couple.
Well, they would live in the South,
They
have
would
the
do
garden,
all
do
the
the
stuff.
cookbooks,
Yes.
P.
I think that everybody has been thinking that, oh, he's just going to marry someone from the South and it's just going to be some podunker from Charleston, some like pageant queen, beauty, whatever. No, there's other girls in the South, and one of them is Kristen Cavallari, and that's a whole other level of Southern gal. And she's from Laguna Beach, like she's bi-coastal. Do you remember when like Paige had just started talking to Craig, and she's like, I hear he's talking to Kristen Cavallari, but this is a person she has verbally said like that she is a fan.
Well,
of
I
this
think
girl,
now
like,
would be different. Not that
Not
she's
a
not
fan
still
anymore?
a fan. No. She could still be a fan of Kristen's, but if you've lived in the house and you electively sold the house and someone else moved in it, you're like,
totally.
I don't know, because I wanted to move to the penthouse.
I think Paige might just be like, that is not who I would have picked. You know, just to like, and
Totally.
Paige is equal, if not better. I'm just saying, you know.
No, I
just
totally get
like,
it.
Oh man.
You're like, oh, yeah. It's like that episode of Sex and the City where she's like, you rebounded with a new Yankee, you win.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Can we just dedicate a little bit of time to West really making me want to just bash his head against a wall? And I'm not a violent person.
Yes, but what were we just talking about? And did I skip you? Because I feel like I can't even remember. How did I bring this up?
Oh, because you were saying you think now they're going to do Craig dirty. Like this is going to be the demise of Craig.
Oh, okay. So,
but now you've got him in a great celebrity couple. So I don't know if you've talked yourself out of your own
no,
point.
but that's what I'm saying. Pursue this because everyone loves, and that's how you did so well to begin with.
Yeah,
was because of Paige. No one liked you before this. Like they really didn't. You know, even when he was with Naomi, it just like. We liked them. We liked him. We like it's not like but like we loved.
No, this was
him
his
with
glow
Paige.
up.
Yeah, and so he could continue on with that, and the deals would get even bigger, and they would just keep on coming. Like that's the move, dude. If you want to make it where like the editors don't really have any power over you, and they'll just have to get on board again because everyone will already be on board, and there's no reason to fight. Like producers don't fight they don't go against the grain. They'll with you when they can because they need to have
yeah, but don't fight the story.
That's
go with the flow.
It would do no one any good.
Yeah.
So that's my tip. Do you have any tips? What do you think about the Craig demise? How she brought up everyone's talking about him being a liar, and it just is sort of like this through line that they're continuing on with.
They just have been hammering it home on his show and on Summer House.
I think that's probably Craig's main storyline and always has been, whether it's true or not, or however, whether you think, you know, we had conversations in the comments last week or this past week about how it's just Craig's like a game of telephone, you know, he kind of hears things and then just repeats it, but not in the same way. So I don't know. I mean, and then I think there's people who are like, Craig doesn't lie. Craig's never lied about anyone, only his own failings. There's Team Craigers, and then there's people who are like, this dude lies all the time. I like Craig, but he's a fucking liar.
Yeah.
I said my piece a week or so ago, how I think Craig just reads between the lines and interprets between the lines and then reiterates between the lines.
But I also think we agreed that he takes an extreme artistic license with his summation.
Well, he's a lawyer and a storyteller.
Yeah, exactly.
So that makes sense. I think it's gonna be a hard time to take down Craig right now, to be totally honest.
Same.
Yeah.
I think if I didn't think about that either, if he gets with Kristen Cavallari, yeah, that's probably going to work out.
Limit.
But just from the scenes from next week where Craig's like pulling a Sienna, where he's like, we'll talk about it next. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I think that Craig will just listen to his people and not say anything. And so the problem will become your imagination is worse than the truth. So we'll all sit here and be like, oh, Craig didn't say, you know what? I know what Craig did. This little and we're all going to do it. We all have YouTubes. We all got the thing. This is what we do. We love it. But that's what we're going to do. And if he doesn't say anything because his $100 million company, people are like, bro, keep your mouth shut and just keep that hair going. Then that could be a problem, is people will just make things up.
I feel like it's as simple as going, just tell him you'll talk about it with him later. Keep telling him that. Keep being in the room with him and keep telling him that. And Kyle will implode. Because if you don't let Kyle say what Kyle wants to say when he wants to say it,
But what does
Kyle
that have to do with Craig's demise?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking about how we're going to watch him say, I don't, can we talk about this later? And then, but that action is going to make all of us just sort of.
Oh, that the truth is
more, like the truth. Like
your silence is worth than the truth.
Yeah. I'm just commenting on that.
I see what you're saying. You're thinking that's actually the good move.
To let Kyle completely implode. He will bury himself as he always does, roll the tape. I really feel like Craig has got, either he really lucked out and just found like his business partners, just like one of them is maybe naturally like a very good reader of human behavior, or he's literally got a behavioralist like on staff 24/7.
Quick question.
That just like brings him into
If
what?
you walked into Craig Conover's house,
Yeah.
season 4 or 5 of a reality show that was here to stay, and he was one of the stars, and he was making these dumbass pillow shams
Yeah.
and you saw dollar signs,
Yeah.
you wouldn't go home, bang out those 5 seasons and be like, hey guys, I got an investment, but we're going to need a therapist on staff and a PR crisis team because this guy's got some pillow shams we can sell, but he's a fucking
And
Looney
he's
Tunes.
got a smile
But he's also got
to
some baggage.
die.
Yeah,
and a hairline to die.
Wait, he makes
and
baggage? No. He makes pillows. He has baggage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And he used to model, so he's got like everything that you would want of like your cover guy. You know?
What I mean is, anybody who's going to go into business with Craig, who is smart enough to turn Craig into a $100 million business, is probably smart enough to be like, we're going to need an extra body on staff to take care of this.
We're going to need a Craig handler
until we get him. Yeah,
I agree.
Until we get him in check, which now they
Yeah.
do. They've got him. You know, you can see that little leash around his neck.
Yeah.
Which cool, man.
And he's wearing it
I
like
wish
a
somebody would
he's wearing
put
it
a
like it's
leash around
Louis.
my
By the
neck
way,
and-
it's the most likable version of him. I'm here for it.
totally
He's so
is.
thoughtful. I feel like everything he says, I'm like, I can't really fault you for that.
No.
He's making sense. He's not fighting nonsensical fights. He's not like, I actually agree with you. Next week, I hope when Kyle comes for him, I hope he takes the stance of, I don't want to fight with you, bro. Like, let's talk about it later. This doesn't make either one of us look good because then that does separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, it totally does. And I think that also, like, I am seeing what a mastermind Craig has become. I'm watching it week after week, just example after example. We're seeing it happen in all these different scenarios, like all the time. The thing about like I'm an addict, the image I'm putting out there, I'm not trying to make people believe I am that. I'm trying to be that. I'm trying to become that image. Like the wording was so perfect that if you didn't think I was like, well done, who wrote that? I need to know who your guy, like, because it was just, all I want America to know is that I'm aware that this could be a total sham, but I am so impressed by the execution, because the execution, as we see from all these people, from the Lindsays and the Kyles and the God knows who else is the Austins and the Whitneys and this is not an easy task. I am so impressed by the execution that it's almost more important to me now than who he really is in real life. You know, as I talk about Kyle and Lindsay bringing what they bring, like, it's hard to do a job every day and come correct with what you're like, the plan, execute the plan. Okay, I'm great. I'm signing out for the day. I'll be back 8 a.m. tomorrow sharp. I'm not late. I'm full glam, full wardrobe. Like it's a thing, you know, it's something to be applauded. So I know I'm all over the place with this, but this show continues to impress me with when we first started doing it and you guys were talking about the casting and how brilliant the casting was.
As much as you can bat 1,000 with casting, they've done that on Summer House.
Yeah.
It's such a well-cast show.
I do hope that at some point someone writes a tell-all after the show's over, because, you know, you don't want it to be happening.
I don't want the show to ever
like,
be over.
I know. But just to know, like, what does go into all, like, who are on the teams of these people that are like the veterans that are really like bringing like the big moments. Like, what do those teams look like? What do they consist of? Like a therapist, crisis PR, you know, someone who's deciding what companies you're going to go into business with. People that are just doing that, like they're like your producing partner, basically, like where they're just like helping you decide of all the avenues to entertain and whatever. Like it's getting too big for its bridges, because like at a certain point you just want to watch real people do real stuff, but
we
the
still
machine
are.
is so impressive.
We still are watching real people do real stuff. Lindsay is really having a kid. Paige and Craig really break up.
Yeah.
Amanda,
or did they?
Oh God, that's the end of the show tonight.
I'm just saying, with all the things I'm seeing unfold, at this point, sky is the limit.
There's you need to just wear a tin hat if you really think Paige and Craig aren't.
I believe that they broke up, but I'm just saying you all have to be open to the possibility that that there's a bigger thing going on behind just these people. They have gotten to a point, like he is now running a $100 million company. Like,
He's face of $100 million company.
But also,
Big
whatever.
difference.
But he owns
Not
it.
whatever.
All right, how about this?
Big, gigantic difference.
Take a different person, for example. You have Bethany Frankel. She created the fastest growing liquor company in the history of the liquor business. She was on the cover of Forbes. She has single-handedly like spearheaded the largest personal relief effort for the globe, right?
Yeah.
And when she is on this show, she says to you, she's like, yes, of course. Like before I'm walking into, Sonia's holiday party. This is on Real Housewives of New York, if you guys don't watch it. The producers will give you a rundown like, hey, like Sonia and Ramona aren't in a good spot. You're still obviously like at odds with Carol and whatever other thing there. And Bethany's like, yeah, I got it. And is going into the scene knowing that, they're not in a good spot. I'm still fighting with Carol, but that's all, like her fight with Carol was real.
Yeah.
She always says, when I was on that show, I was bringing what was going on in my real life. I wasn't creating storylines. And yes, do I think there are people who go on these shows saying like, oh, this year, I want my story to be all about how like I just bought a new home and now I'm going to be an interior decorator and I'm going to launch an interior design business and be the next like Magnolia, whatever, Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah. My nephew worked for them.
They seem great. But like it rarely comes to fruition because you can't be that. If everyone could be that successful, they would all be having these banner seasons.
Yeah.
And life just doesn't work like that. So that's why I think, yes, does Lindsay want to come in and have this great season because she's pregnant and she's met this guy and whatever? Absolutely. But like things are going to go left because that's life. I don't think it's that planned out or staged.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the teams of people that they've got helping with things now. Bethany was a few years ago. Like things have changed. Catherine talks about it in that podcast that I sent you about how like when she went on there was no book on how to do this. She was like literally trying to Google books on like how to do reality TV. It is just a completely different game now. I'm saying leave room for that. This is a booming business now, and more people. You get the bigger you get, the more money, more problems, bigger teams, more help, more. It's just it's certainly possible to become bigger than what we're all just thinking is on this screen.
Oh yeah, obviously, because so many of them have brands now and they have publicists.
Yeah, and there's too much money and too many investors behind them now to just let them freeball it. The money's too big.
When you say let them
big.
freeball it, what do you mean?
Like just like let them. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this business with you, and we're not going to literally have 7 meetings before your next episode.
Oh sure, but I'm saying things still will go left because people are people.
Unless you can master, like there are some that are. That's what I'm talking about. There are some that are better at it. There are some that
like
have
the Craigs of the world.
Craig seems to have a real capacity to have a very controlled trajectory at this point, and I'm sure he's moments away from it all imploding. Like it would probably take one beer too many one night, and that's literally as fast as it can be taken away just all that quickly. I'm just imagining all just the growth. It's inflation of everything.
Well, I'm
it's
here
a
for
bubble.
It 'cause they're serving up a great season for us.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get into West because I'm so freaking irritated with him. Is he not? But like, this episode, first of all, this look is like Boy Scout gone bad. You're doing the most with this look, West. It's too curated.
Yeah, I don't understand
with the hat and the glasses and the little tie and it's just like, I get it. I get that you like clothes. I get that you wanted to come with a look, but it just feels like you're doing the most right now, and it's too much for me personally. And then I don't appreciate the humble brag. Or like just brag if that's the case, right? So this time last summer, you didn't have a job, and now like the show has given you notoriety. Now you got that job at Complex, and now you're hosting whatever this show is, and there's no true humility with it. He's just like, yeah, because I got this show and I'm like interviewing like B, C, D-list celebrities, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a montage. He's like, and I was in Houston, and then I was in Dallas, and then I went to Chicago, and then I had to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's like him taking selfies of himself in the cabs, in the airport, and it's just great. I get it. We all take selfies, but I don't know if I'm showing those that readily to people to be like, oh, look how cool my job is, and look how like I'm just that guy now. Like, did that none
No,
of that bother you?
That's not at all what he was saying. They were saying, like, they were talking about him dating and like his personal life. And what he was saying is like, I don't really have a lot of things going on in my personal life because fortunately I've been super busy with work. I was in Dallas. I flew to here. I flew there. So he's like, they're just showing like, oh yeah.
No, they started the conversation because they said, how's your job? What are you doing?
No, I think
They were at
Paige asked
dinner.
him if he's dating, and
I thought they
what's her
started from
face was
asking
like,
how's
that's
your
a
job?
wild question to ask Wes who he's right now.
Why would it
That's
be
what
wild?
Amanda said. For
Oh, because of
Paige to
the
ask Wes
Sierra-
right
the
now,
Sierra.
why that? So it was him being like, I'm busy working. I've been here. I've been there. I don't really have much going on in my personal life.
The montage of him
No, that one photo was a creep, sir.
in the
When he-
cab.
I like those ones were all just like, okay, fine, do whatever. It was when he took a photo of himself laying down on a bed that had like a mirror next to it. So you were seeing like a mirrored image of like, and he only had shorts on. And
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, you could have left that one out. That was a gross one. But I understand what you're saying because I think that even Paige says like, well, I don't think that you are really dating because like you're so busy. Like you've been traveling so much or whatever. So it did seem like if that was like a discussion of like, let's lead Wes into like to tell us about what he does for work because we don't really know much about, or like we need a refresher course
Yeah.
because we've just been hammering him and whatever. So I wasn't totally annoyed by that. I get more annoyed when he just like pats himself on the back for being funny because like he is funny and it's irritating
so
to me that
funny.
he's funny.
Dude,
So like when he says like, it's hard not to laugh at my jokes though, right? Like, and so I'm just like, shut the fuck up. But like he
This is
funny.
why I'm annoyed with him top to bottom. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like there's no humility there at all. And what I know about life is there is always someone back there baking a piece of humble pie. And I'm great. I'd be happy for you that you have this new job that you love that's taking you all over the place. You've already been to all 50 states. You're going to go to them twice. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be psyched
you
for
think there's no humility? Zero? Not any humility in 5 episodes that we've seen him be meek and quiet and like, granted, topless
he doesn't
fucking
know any
apologies,
words.
but like not really try to rub it in anyone's face, like sneak out, come back in, like no, none, zero.
I feel like he's not
He's lying to
being-
his best friend on the show saying he didn't hook up. Even Jesse's like, okay, dude. Like no humility? That's humility. And when he says the thing about interviewing CD and whatever celebrities, I think that's him trying to make it seem like it's not just like a fucking dumb little thing. Like that's him, I think, on himself and making it seem like I don't want people to think like, oh, I got the show, I'm working all over. He's like, this is a little thing on the show. That's whatever celebrities.
I didn't take how he said any of that to have any real humility to it. Like, yes, honest about saying like, it's not like I'm sitting here interviewing Brad Pitt or Barack Obama or something like that. It is more just kind of like people who are currently in the zeitgeist of pop culture. I think I would have appreciated if he just said, listen, like I've been all over the place and I'm so grateful for this job because last year I was living half of the summer, if not more, without a gig. And
I mean,
we all
again, we don't
just-
know that he didn't.
We just still want him to be on a redemption, like on a sorry tour, and just be like, I think that's just all like what we want, and it's seemingly that he's going to really skate from all of everything that happened, and it's hard to watch someone skate so easily because I think clearly right now maybe not you, but like you probably get the vibe that like, we're going to get over this pretty quickly. A lot of other people would have to suffer. Like
Already there,
Taylor
West.
had to suffer.
I'm not.
all
Already
year.
there.
I'm not West.
That's my
but wait,
note.
I just
I'm
Right,
over
but I'm
it.
just saying, like you can, we are getting the temperature, and it seems like he's not going to have a Taylor season. Taylor had to really
No.
pay for her deeds, you know.
Correct.
And he's going to just get to his jokes are going to get him where he's just not really going to have to deal with.
That's what's making me even more angry. And just to answer Mike's question, no, I haven't seen him walk around with any sense of humility in the house. When he walked into Sierra's room and he's like a child, not a grown ass adult. And he's like, do you hate me? can we talk now?
Humility is not a thing.
That
I
is
saw.
not humility. When he's sitting at the table and she's yelling at him, he just doesn't want to get into a fight. He's not being like, listen, I'm going to sit here and take it because I deserve it. After we put out an article with the New York Times, right after they made up
Did you read the article?
of what they said, no, I only saw the highlights of it on the show. How about this? Unless he went in there and said, am I wrong? Did he go in there and say,
But
I
like,
treated her like dog
we do
shit?
a show where we watch one program and all three of us see three different things. He said that's not like when she was like, oh, you're going to go in and do an article about how you break up with me and you didn't like me. Then he was like, that's not like, I didn't read the article. I just saw the little clippies, but I know how we can take clips and just.
Wait, you didn't read it either?
No, but
Okay, I thought you were literally here to be like, you guys, I read the article and it's not what we thought. And I was going to be like,
I
oh,
did,
God.
but like, my point is, it could not be. It could
No, I know,
like if you're the
why didn't I
girl who
read
got
it?
broken
I don't
up
know why I
with,
didn't
if
read
you're the
it.
girl who got broken up with, a New York Times article, it could be like, oh my God, she was the love of my life. I can't believe I'm so, and
But
she'd
it
be like,
wasn't.
I'm saying, if you're the person that got broken up with, doesn't matter what the article says, you're probably going to be like, fuck you, why are you putting our shit out in the public, right? So when she says all these things, he's like, that's not how I saw it. So I don't think Wes went and did an article and was like, oh, let's roast this chick. Like, let's go all out flames.
I don't think he said it. Let's roast right, but I think he did think I'm gonna make myself look cool.
From someone who did have an ex that did a New York Times article right after they dumped her and it fucking blew, I can let you know, whatever they're saying, even if they don't bring you
But
up.
they did a New York
Can I
Times article
finish?
telling how they didn't like you and you weren't their person.
Can I
Like,
finish? Even if they don't bring you up and they're like, I'm just so happy to have this fresh start and I bought this home because I know this is what I needed to be successful. It's like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry that I was part of this murky, gross past you had. I'm so sorry that the house that I helped you build was so gross that you had to go out and buy this new one because this is going to help you be a success because last year when you were with me, you did so well. You got this massive contract, you fucking So even in them not talking about you, they're still talking about you. And listen, maybe I'm just pissed because
Right, but what's your point? Like,
my point is that whether he said after he brought her home to meet his parents, after they went to weddings together, and then he broke up with her in a way that she felt was kind of crappy, and then they made up after the reunion, he then went out and did a New York Times article, and in the snippets, he did mention her, and he just was like, listen, it wasn't going to work out, like that's why we broke up.
Right.
And first of all, why are you even saying this to the New York Times when we had it dead and buried? Second of all, you never said if we're believing Sierra, and I don't think Sierra is lying, why would she say you've never said any of that to me? And even if he did say all of that to me, you had it dead and buried. So why are you resurrecting it?
Yeah, all of that. I think that we are watching him and we are comparing him to other people who have done things in the realm of what he's done and seeing them have to pay and then seeing that it is going to be forgotten. I think it almost is forgotten. I don't think the fact that Paige is hanging out with him when Paige just told him at the reunion, you're dead to me. Like, and now Paige is like, oh my God, I don't tell Sierra I'm laughing at your jokes. Like even Paige is
she's
like
telling Sierra, oh, and they're joking about
I
it.
know,
She's like, it's over, dude. It's over. It's over.
That's what
It can be.
Team
I'm
West.
still mad at him.
and it just is like a little bit of a bummer that like it's over so quickly after like what we were all
But
feeling.
I don't think
pretty
like
gnarly about him doing something to someone who was very vocal about that is not what I would like to be done to me.
Mike thinks the punishment doesn't fit the crime, correct?
No, I think that we're talking about an article that none of us have read, for starters. What I said was,
Christy, did you read it?
we all watch the same show and we see three different things often, right?
Yeah.
Rarely are the three of us like, yep, that's what I saw. Oh, me too. How crazy.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up and move on to next week. Like, and that's hopefully the fun of our show. A couple people think that. Like, so West did an article, and in his mind, I'm not saying this is the truth, but in his mind, he just needed to clear the air. He was getting shit on. Poor Sierra got broken up with by this dumb fat kid that like nobody likes. Like, so he was like, I'm getting shit on. I want to clear the air. Like, So he did an article. He didn't seem to think that he was shitting on her or saying these things. And listen, we've all heard the stories. We've all done articles, right, in the press. Like, what guy's coming doing a report and being like, oh, perfect, I'm going to write exactly what you said? Nobody. So like, maybe the writer took some shit out of context. Maybe he said a thing. And again, what I'm saying, like you said, it doesn't matter if you get mentioned. It doesn't matter if you get talked about without being mentioned. It doesn't matter if the article's about his new show that he's doing and doesn't mention her at all. She's going to be pissed. Whoever got broken up with is going to be pissed about a New York Times article.
Specifically if they did you wrong in the breaking up of things.
It doesn't matter. Sure. Fine.
No, that makes it worse. If you did me dirty
right,
and you dumped me.
Who's saying that he did her dirty?
We saw him do her dirty.
Yeah.
He didn't. He broke
His
up
parents
with her
even
Are
said-
you
because-
forgetting the entire
Oh my God.
thing?
You
Like,
need...
listen, I understand that you're over it and that
I'm not
you're
over
ready
it.
to
I'm
move on
just
from
like-
it. But like, if you're saying that you can't even like remember like how horrible that was,
He
then,
literally
like,
said, my parents
you're-
are mad at me from what I did to Sierra. If your parents are saying like, you messed it up with this chick who you brought home to spend time with us.
Are you just forgetting like what happened?
I must be.
He's being sarcastic and I don't appreciate it.
I'd never appreciate it, and I would send him to his room.
If you
if
and
I could.
Natalie got into a fight, which never happens, and you both agreed to bury it, like it's done here, and then you went on a public platform such as the New York Times and did an article. Do
Yes,
you not think that's
everything
messed
that
up?
we've heard is absolutely 100% true, sure.
If Paige tells me it's true, it's true.
Yeah, great. So that's my point. Is like, that's my point, that everyone just keeps talking over and around. My point is, everyone sees shit differently. I don't like West sees that article differently. We're hearing some from a hurt girl who's said over and over, oh, he did me dirty. He did that. We buried it. Blah, blah, blah. Well, funny. Everyone's back at the summer house loving on West. Sierra's laughing. We're all at the pool. Like, I'm not the only one that's like, cool, man. It seems like we're good. Like, and I wrote in my notes, I'm allowed to like someone who did a shitty thing. We all are. He did a shitty thing. West, you did a shitty thing.
100%. I
We
just feel
want
like
a little more grumbling.
I just need him to hug the cactus a little while
That's
longer.
exactly
That's it.
I think that's what we said from the jump of this is like, I think we're all feeling like even we'll be like, no, f- you. Like we'll catch ourselves and we just want to be like, no, bro, a lot of people have a lot of, apologizing to do and a lot of groveling to do. And they've had to do that on these shows. And you are just seem to be getting out of something that was really heinous really quickly. And like, it'd be cool if like you waited 2 more episodes to be cool. Like,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Or
That's
all he has
That's
to
all.
say, all he has to say is, I did you dirty and I am so sorry. And I will hug the cactus with pleasure. Want to know why? Because I deserve it. If you just said that, and not to jump ahead, but I have this in my notes. Even Jesse, when they were at the beach talking, he was like, something's off. Like, I know you hooked up. He didn't say these exact words, but like he knew he hooked up with someone. He's like, yeah, bro, I don't believe that. He's like, just be honest or just whatever. Like, West trying to control his whole narrative so he continues to just like look like the good guy or clean up his mess from last season it's still continuing to irk me, as opposed to just saying like, either, you know what, I'm just not going to talk about who I hook up with, or I am going to say I hooked up because, listen, it's over.
That's what
I've
he's
apologized.
Saying. What he said on the beach and what he's been saying for 5 episodes is, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to bring it home. I'm not going to talk about why are you going to
But he is, because he's talking about it in the confessionals.
Yeah, he goes
You're
on his
still
interviews
talking
and
about
stuff.
it.
It's all in the same show.
It's
know,
right.
So,
like-
okay. All right. And you think those confessionals are taking place in Sierra's bedroom or
But I said it
somewhere
last
else?
week. Do you
No.
think she doesn't watch the show?
But at the house, like these are 2 different places, 2 different times
because
and
if
space.
you're
At
trying-
the house, while they're filming the summer house, Wes is like, I'm gonna try not to be a dick. I'm trying to bring girls home. I'm trying not to talk about it. And like, did it go out and not come home? Sure, but like, I'm gonna like to keep it under wraps because like it seems disrespectful to do it so soon.
But
right?
it's just as disrespectful to them be in the interview being like,
Yeah.
of course I hooked up with someone.
totally.
Listen.
Months later. It's months later.
In the same episode that we're all talking about in reality, where we're all watching the same show. It's not like it was years later where he's doing a documentary.
Don't tell me
Right,
that
but
you're doing the
talking-
kind thing and taking the high road and being Meek Mill what? Meek Mill? That's a rapper. Is that a?
Yeah, go with it. Being Meek Mills.
But isn't Meek Mill's like caught up in a Diddy scandal?
I have no idea. I don't even know who they are.
Meek Schmills. And then, it just is like, you don't get to tell me that you're taking the high road. And then I guess I understand confessionals are confessionals and the house is in the house, but it's all the same show. We're all watching. I don't like girls having to find out surprises on shows and then go, oh God, he was doing that the whole time, but he was telling me he wasn't really hooking up with anyone. I kind of thought he was taking the high road.
It's not what he
Turns
said.
out
He's never once said that he's not hooking up with anybody. He just said he's not bringing it home.
I know. Okay, you are a big West fan. I
I'm not. I'm
didn't
just like,
realize
it
that
seems
until
like-
today, and that is new information to me, and it will be duly noted.
Anyway, I need him to hug the cactus a little while longer
think we'd
because
all just
I'm not
like
done
that,
with it, and
you
it
know?
really turns me off. And
you
by the
don't
way,
care, and that's fine. But I didn't. It seems like you got over it real quick, and that's the problem that we are
I
addressing.
didn't. I didn't get over it. It's been however long, 5 weeks into this episode, a whole off season, a whole high. Like I didn't get over it quickly. But it seems like this episode, everyone there is over it.
Yeah, I know, and that's the issue. That's what we're saying. It's a
yeah,
bummer.
that's why I'm annoyed.
It's just a feeling. It's all right
Yes,
to,
I'm
to
allowed
feel
to.
a little
no, I
like
know, but
I'm
your
Italian. I
arguments-
hold grudges.
Your arguments are that you're mad at Wes because of what Sierra and Paige and all these people told us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he did all that, right? Now, what I'm saying is seemingly they're all cool with it, and you guys are still mad
Yeah.
because,
And I'm allowed to be.
yeah,
right? But
because we wish
okay.
that everybody
Yeah.
was holding him to a little higher of an
so
account.
if they're
That's-
telling you to hate Wes, you're going to listen. If they're telling you we're cool, we're going to like Wes, not listening. That's fine.
They
That's all
didn't
we
tell
need
me to hate
say.
West. I watched what happened. It irked me to the point that I'm still, not, as a viewer, not over it.
yeah, the thing I said about Paige, I just think that Paige is truthful. I still don't know about those two bitches that she says Craig was texting. The jury's still out on that. We'll have to wait and find out what that was all about. But for the most part, I would say 99.9% of the time. That's another reason why it's hard for me to believe that Craig has been lying this whole time and he's just this like known liar and whatever. Does Paige Sorbo stay with a pathological liar for 3 years? 3 years.
No. I don't think he's a pathological liar.
I don't
think he
either.
just does what we talked about last episode.
Yeah.
And
And that's almost worst case to me. Like at this point, yes, many years where Craig was a big giant mess. I don't think it's been that way in the recent times. It feels like I don't think she would be with a guy that was that problematic for that long. And
clearly, Kyle doesn't feel that way because he thinks that there's some weird thing going on with the seltzer.
Yeah. And that's what I like when I said last week, how long do we let this go on where like anytime somebody disagrees with Craig or has a thing with him, they go, well, he's a liar. And like the thing that he brought up that Kyle brought up in this argument was just another like Kyle is just so horrible with his planting of information. He's so transparent, so obvious. It had nothing to do with anything. Well, how long ago was this wedding? Like 100 years ago. Like, and now you're gonna bring not 100, but it was it was years ago. It has nothing to do with the seltzer. But you're gonna go and just for the record, he did get kicked out of my wedding, and he's still lying about that. Like. When that happened, and we brought it up with Danielle, and brought it up with Lindsay, one season, a whole year goes by, gets brought up with Danielle. Kyle's never talked about that before, and now you're going to bring it up because you're pissed at him that he went into business with someone else. I'm sorry, your business is tanking, and he went into a more successful. Like he made a business decision, and he's going to now decide that it's the right time to talk about how he got kicked out of your wedding, like. Just do better, Kyle. Like, just
He can't.
He can't, and
He literally
that's-
can't.
and
It's like
that's-
asking someone to reach something that they just can't.
Yeah,
It's like I can't do it.
yeah,
Can we get into a little bit the Jesse and Lexi stuff?
Yes, yeah.
What is what I thought he was being really sweet in bed with her in the morning, like after
I did too.
they had hooked up. And I think he actually, any shady stuff that I thought from last episode where maybe he's not saying that he's nervous or this is going very fast for him, even though he literally proposed 2.5 seconds into knowing her. I I think he was pretty honest with her when they were in bed, when he was like, listen, he's like, it's a part of my personality. I am really flirty. Just let me like, I know you have to trust is earned, but like, let me show that to you. I don't think I think he was being very genuine and sweet. Now listen, how it plays out is going to be something completely different, but I just think these two very clearly, this is why you have to go a little bit slower when you meet people, because right now they're showing each other to be like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
They're just
Chalk
and cheese. Like he's so flirty. She gets jealous very easily. He clearly wasn't ready for a relationship because he is heavily flirting with Sierra. And this is just a recipe. It's a ticking time bomb. Yes? No? Anyone? Bueller?
First of all, I'd like to know a little more about Lexi. I'd like to know what she does for a living. I know she's got a whole business.
She's a model.
Right, but she's got her whole family working for her. Like,
I'm
she's in
sure
this
like all the
family
deals
business.
and stuff. Like maybe her sister
But
does
like, what's
her.
investor relations?
Listen, anybody who says I have never partied without my mom, I'll let the sister slide because, like, cool, you party with your sister, you guys are buddies. Anybody who's ever said I have never partied without my mom, that's a problem. There's something going on there.
Right now, I have to work really hard to see her for anything more than a 16-year-old guest print model that's hooking up with a giant toothed beanstalk. For every emotion and feeling that she's having, it's all about him. And I said this before, and now I feel like I've said it about 3 different people. Or no, I will have said it by the end of this episode. I will have said it about 3 different people.
Stay tuned.
You're cracking windows to make your escape the second you get bored of this girl, or decide that like maybe Sierra might make out with you, or maybe Paige is on the rocks with Craig, or like whatever it is, like whoever's in the house. Like I think Jesse's open for business, and I think that he is doing too much, and I think it's going to catch up with him. Like, I think it's kind of weird how he acts like he's going to all these women in the house as if they're like you're like my big sister, and I'm telling you I need this advice. But he will try to fuck them as soon as he could, and so I think that he is telling them this stuff in a way that's like leaving room for him to still be able to do something. Like, Lexi's kind of jealous, and she's saying this, and I gotta check with Lexi, and oh god, she didn't say this, did she? Maybe she did. Like, Jesse's biggest concern is not having a West season. Don't tell me that you really care about how things are going to turn out with this girl, a girl that you literally like booed up like 23 minutes into shaking hands with her. Like you, if you really were thoughtful about it and you really cared, you wouldn't be in this situation. And it's now your storyline. You're talking to everyone in the house about it. And then it seems as if you might be hooking up with Sierra at some point. And I just think like,
or trying to hook up with Sierra.
Yeah. I'm just getting skeevy vibes.
So even though like what he was saying in bed did seem
Yeah.
whatever, like you're still thinking there's something under the surface.
Because I
that
think he
is
wants to hook up
gross.
with everyone. I think
Yeah.
that Jesse is a walking boner. Like
I could get down with everything you're saying, quite frankly.
And so, yeah, I think you can have a good heart, but you can still, at the end of the day, if you're doing whatever you want to do, but like it's not going to look bad because you got a big smile and you've been telling everyone about things that are happening. Like, it's all too clean right now.
It's like Jesse's out for
it's
Jesse and his boner.
Yeah.
Not even like him and himself. Like, you know, when someone's like, oh, I'm out for myself. Like, he's out for his boner.
It's truly just, he's a walking dong.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm really here for what you're saying.
Great.
I feel like you could be onto something.
How about you?
He's going to hate it.
Oh, no.
I just don't. If someone tells you who they are, I don't see Jesse hiding that fact. I think that he's struggling with this girl that he likes who's jealous. He's not typically with a jealous person because Jesse is Jesse Solomon. He's fun. He's charming. He's been completely honest with her. He's told her, this is who I am. He's asking the people in the house for advice.
Can I ask you a question?
Like, I don't know. Like,
when, just for a guy's perspective, when Nat says like he's going to all the girls to just say, hey, you know, Lexi and I had this conversation, and then goes to another girl to say we had this conversation. Do you think that's him trying to lay some groundwork so that he could maybe hook up with some of those girls later, so that there's like this closeness between them? Or do you really think he's just a dude that likes to talk to chicks? And
because that's a thing, you know, I know that's a thing, especially from a newbie who's trying to also just get in with the people that are older than him.
who's hooked up with multiple
chicks
chicks in this house?
Carl.
Yeah, Carl, but
Who? You made out with Paige a couple of times, and then
Paige,
Lindsay.
Lindsay, and the chick that
And he
Lauren
was
Workus, or the Workus, one of the Workus twins when he first got there.
and he was together with Danielle,
And
and then
he
they
hooked up
hooked
with
up
Danielle.
again in the cab
Yeah.
that one night.
Okay, so
I
with the
think more than
exception
that
of
too.
Carl,
There's, I think Jules.
you
I think he hooked up with Jules.
I,
I'm
di-
sure.
I don't
Or
see
not Jules,
Jesse
one of the older
Solomon
girls.
being the dude that's banging multiple chicks in like.
Oh, just I
there's
think he would like to.
No, so
Listen, no offense, but we'd all like to bang all those chicks in that house. Like,
true.
you
I would
wanna,
love to
like
bang all of them.
look, sure, yeah, Kyle would. Like everybody
Sure,
would.
then like the girl that told you that she doesn't like casual. Like, do we know if they're sleeping together yet? Like,
They haven't slept together.
They
yet.
haven't.
I don't
Okay.
think, at least,
No,
because
I think they did bone.
oh,
Well, he's definitely trying to, because you hear her being like, "Nice try," and him being like, "Well, but can't you just respect that I want it?" Or like, "Don't you just know how bad I want?" Or something like,
yeah.
like they played
said
that
something,
Mike. Like
yeah.
I can't remember, but it was something like that. So he's definitely trying to, and she's been very clear. Like when women, like we talked about, when women are so upfront and they're like, I only enjoy relationship sex. I am uncomfortable with it any other way. And like, you're like, oh, well, I guess we'll be in a relationship until we're not. Like, is that a gray area? I don't know. Like,
But it's
of
not,
course,
even
every
he said
relationship
it.
can
One
break
of
up.
his
But like,
conversations was, she gave me a month. She gave me a month to figure out if
Yeah.
we're going to pursue this or not. So I think we're in week 2 of that month.
okay.
Right. And they're still figuring it out. And if that's true, she's like, here, you have a month. I understand where you're coming from. You're flirty. Great. I get a little jealous. I grew up in this job. Everyone talk shit on me all day long because that's what you do to a model. You pick them apart. And so like, these are my hang-ups. If we're going to go to the beach and you talk about big in front, I'm gonna feel weird about that. She seems mature and not like, it's weird because I'm with you that I'm like, every time I see her and watch her giggle and I'm like, oh my God, go back to elementary school.
Yeah.
Is recess over? What is happening?
I know she's
So there's that
little.
totally.
In her little bitty babies.
Yeah. But she's also
she's such a teeny tiny.
she's I lost Courtney. She also
Baby.
She's also says a lot
back.
of, because she lost her friend, she says a lot of very mature things, right?
Yeah.
Where she's like, yes, getting your heart broken sucks, but not being in love sucks way worse. Being 26 and being like, listen, let's have a talk. I want to tell you about this. I'm jealous, And like the whole thing with Carl.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That whole thing with Carl. What?
When they're in the car and you had said like, you were talking about how, that's not Carl, Jesse is like doing these weird conversations and being like, well, did she say she was a cheater? Well, she didn't not. Like, he was being goofy, but that's not what he said. What he said was, no, she did say that. Paige was the one that was like, well, she didn't actually say that. And he was like, she did actually. And that's when everybody was like, holy shit. So she's telling him, here's who I am. He's having conversations with these friends of his to be like, I like her, but you guys know who I am. I post on your pictures that I want to rip all your clothes off. I like inappropriately maybe, but like the girls like it. He likes it.
So then just real quick, just to answer the question, do you think that he is laying groundwork to maybe hook up with Sierra? Or do you think he's just genuinely talking to his girlfriends?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been in a group of friends where the new girl comes, her and I have a connection, and then I use that connection to go sleep with my friends. Like, that's never been the thing that crossed my mind.
So I'm just saying, do you think, not what would Mike do? Do you think that that's what Jesse's doing?
I think that's weird. I think that's weird. I think what you're saying is weird. I think I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but like, I don't take Jesse for a weirdo.
Okay, so then you don't think that's what he's
freak.
doing?
I wouldn't.
would just
I
be a
would
no
think
then.
any like that's a fucking psycho move. I also
Thank
don't
you.
think. I just don't think Jesse's that dude. I don't think Jesse's gonna. Even though it seems weird and the edits are weird and they're weirdly flirty. If Jesse and Sierra bang, like that. That will blow up the whole thing for me. Like, it will literally blow up the
what whole thing?
It'll blow up Jesse, that I'm in love with Jesse and West. I think they're so funny. I love Jesse. Fuck you. them all. Like, not all, but like if that happens after what happened last year, this is your buddy, this is your friend. Like, you're gonna bang this girl? Like, you guys aren't getting married.
What
You're not
if
spending
he
like
tries to hook up with Sierra, but Sierra's like, whoa, Miss Lippy, and I'm not trying.
like, listen, still, it like, I think that would be.
You want to have sexual intercourse with me, Miss Lippy?
I think that would be disgusting.
But it would only be disgusting then on Jesse's side, because Sierra doesn't. If she says no, Miss Lippy, he's then the only one in the wrong.
It depends on how it shakes down, because she seems super cuddly and super like.
No, she keeps saying
what?
One in her confessional, she did say like I'm not, and when he I'm not crushing on him or having feelings
because
towards
he's like
him.
a big brother to me. Yeah,
but
totally.
Hold on.
How many chicks have said that right before they're?
Don't ever do that again. My eyes.
Yeah. Now we know what kind of Mike watches.
Well,
What?
she did say when he's like, no, you think I'm cute kind of a little or something like that. She was like, no. Or like, he said something like, right at the end of the episode.
And she says, real talk, I have never, ever looked at Jesse in that way. No.
And she says it to him in the scene
I don't even
also.
remember
Yeah,
that
listen,
part.
I agree. I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think this is all red herring, fluff, flirty bull to like make a teaser better. If it does, if he pursues her, I think that's disgusting on his part. If she says no, okay, again, it would depend on how much more flirting they do before they get to that point. Because right now,
levels.
to me, is borderline inappropriate. I just think, like, you're in a house, dude. Go bang chicks at the bar. Bang this new girl. Why are you banging your buddy's ex-girlfriend from last summer that, like, a whole season and off-season was dramatized about? Like, what are you doing?
I know.
Fuck off.
Like, but in that moment when he like comes at her and he's like, "Are we crushing right now?" Like, it was very like, all he's looking for is even
for her to say yes.
Like, even just like is that a green light? Is it a yellow light? Like,
It's amber, gun
I
it!
think it all goes out the window
Same.
once Sierra gives him the.
If
like,
Lexi wasn't
it's
in
in.
the house and he wasn't hooking up
yeah.
with anyone, I would love for him and Sierra to hook up, even though Sierra said she has no interest in him, just because I think it might feel good for me, because I'm clearly in the grudgery with my
I never
West
even thought about that. Yeah, I would like
stuff.
it if it just meant that like West had to see
Watch that?
and watch that. That would be pretty
Finger licking
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
I'm in the grudgery. I am.
Yeah,
obviously.
but I just also like I don't take this dude seriously at all. I just think like every girl should stay away from him and West for the foreseeable like 5 years, and we can revisit your
Jesse?
parole. Yeah, I'm telling you, I just see Jesse as a walking erect right now. I don't think like it's like an 18-year-old boy or 18 or whatever age they are when they first discover something. I think he's going through that having just come out of like, I'm cancer free, my balls are here to stay. Like, I think he's reverted back to that time of where you're just like, it's all I can think about. It's my priority. It's everything.
Cool.
Again, it's just a vibe.
Yeah. Love that.
I work off just vibes mostly.
Wait,
Mostly. I found a couple TikToks and I just can't tell. I don't know how seriously to take them. Okay, the first thing I see is him obviously just enjoying like a weekend in Aspen or wherever the hell, I don't know.
Yeah, this guy's so much better than Kyle.
So I see that and just think, oh, I'm sure he's joking. Like, that's just a funny, like, Kyle, this guy's better than you. Whatever. Then
It looks as though Jesse Solomon has a new partnership with Truly, and I just need to know, has anyone checked on Kyle or Sheena? And Jesse posted this on his Instagram yesterday, and obviously it's a collab with Truly, and I just want to know, did he ask Kyle for permission to make money? Is Kyle okay?
why is everyone coming for Kyle?
I mean, listen, I feel like everyone is just doing whatever they want. But until I saw, like, but those two together, seeing those back to back, like, and you're saying he's a shitty DJ essentially, and you're drinking a different seltzer. Like, does he
You're
have?
even shitting on his backup career.
Yeah, does he get some beef with him at some point? I don't know.
It means something.
Yeah,
Is Truly alcoholic?
yeah. I zoomed in on the box and it says hard seltzer. And then I didn't realize this was happening, but I saw this too.
Hey guys, can you do me a quick favor? can we stop posting all my mental breakdowns from the last 9 seasons of Summer House? Or at least let's stop tagging me in them. I'm trying to shake this headache that I've had for the past 10 hours, and I just want to scroll my TikTok, and my For You page is my safe space, and I'm just being literally haunted by my past. So, yeah.
I love her.
I wonder what's going on with her. There was another one. I didn't save this one. I just scrolled past it.
I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but I feel like since the start of this season of Summer House, there's been a little bit of a shift in the way that people online are talking about Amanda Batula. This is now my second season covering this show while it's airing, and last year when there would be videos about Amanda from myself or other creators, there would be like a few comments of people being like, I'm done with her till she leaves Kyle, or I'm done feeling bad for her, or she did this to herself. But now I'm seeing more of those comments and they're getting like hundreds of likes, when last year I feel like that was the minority opinion. Still not saying that that's the majority opinion, but it definitely is an increasing sentiment within the fan base as far as I can tell. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. I have generally loved Amanda the entire time she's been on the show. I love her friendships with Paige and Sierra so much, but I also definitely get frustrated with her at times, so I can understand why people feel the way that they do. I think it's interesting from me coming as somebody who loves Katie Maloney and Ariana Madix so much, because they are examples of women from Bravo who the audience could kind of tell before they could that they deserved better. And it just took a while, but eventually they did realize that and get out of their relationships. I don't know if that's going to happen for Amanda.
Kyle's a problematic guy.
Amanda, I'm still here for you.
Yeah. Now we're into the dinner where
with Paige and Craig at the Australian restaurant,
looking so cute. Like I took a screenshot of just like them walking together, and it was just like such a magic
great moment.
I
know it was. I thought the same
and
thing.
they both were looking so cute. I really wish they could have done us a solid and timed us better, because it's
let
really,
me live in the fantasy.
Yeah,
because now every time I'm with you, like every time I watch a scene with them, I'm just like this. Literally, my one note for the scene is, this is just so sad watching this.
Yeah, it's sad watching it.
I think Craig just got to a point where he got successful enough to be okay with not having Paige in his life. Like, he got to a point for 2.5 years or 2 years and 9 months where Paige was the catch of the century for someone like Craig. And then probably in a 3 or 6 month span, that company hit $100 million in revenue. Craig got a alcohol deal. Craig got this deal. Craig got hair implants, whatever the he did with his hair.
Grew it out.
Something.
I'm like, hair implants?
Whatever. Like, his hair became a thing. And I think he just realized, like, I think that's when he did his full court press and was like, oh, we're getting married. I'm fine moving to New York. We're going to have kids, blah, 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 blah. It was him being like, I'm doing it. If she bails, it's fine. I'll be fine.
He kind of said that. Now that you mention that, there's been a couple moments I feel like on tape where he said like maybe he was talking to Kyle, and Kyle's like, what, you think it wouldn't work out? And he was like, to not consider that option is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then I feel like there's one more besides
he
that.
said it a million times. He said it last season. He said it this season. He said it time and time again.
Yeah.
I think whether he was saying it clearly or not, just like, I'm well aware that I'm with someone who constantly has one foot out the door. He never said it like that. He said it in every other way anyone could ever say it. Like, instead of saying like, oh, I like your shirt, it's like, oh, I like the thing that's above your pants and below your neck. Like, he said every other variation of it.
Yeah. When we went into that dinner, I was like, Jesus, Paige, chill out. Like, I really was sitting there. Like, it was just, it's crazy how I came out of it as opposed to how I went into it. He was saying every single right thing. She seemed like she was trying to set him up to say the wrong thing. And it just didn't work. It didn't work. So we're going down this conversation, because let me just like read some of the, like, because they were so poignant to me. So he says, it's a bummer sometimes, because I think we're both so busy that we live a single life. Like, I don't want us doing events apart forever. And her response is, so it sounds like you're ready for the next step. And he's like, no, it's not that I'm ready for the next step. It's that I want to make sure that as we continue to get busier, I just opened another store. You're about to go on tour. Just that we continue to make each other and our relationship a priority and we don't let it slip. Let's just make sure that that doesn't change, you know? And she says, or no, he continues, like, we never let our relationship fall to the wayside. And she goes, I don't feel like it has. Do you feel like it has? And he goes, no, this is just more of a health check of the relationship. We're happy now. Let's continue to put the effort in and make each other a priority no matter how busy we get. And she goes, but that's why I feel like you bringing it up. Is there like a tinge of you not being happy? Like nothing he said so far, everything he said so far is like, no, it's all great. Let's just, you know, keep doing what we're doing. And you're busy and I'm busy. And you're ready for this? No. I'm good. I just want to make sure it's a health check. Just checking in. Like these are all very healthy, normal things to say. And he's like, we're 5 times busier now than we were when we started dating. You legitimately are becoming more successful and busier, which is awesome. And she goes, is it? Like just, and he's like, why do you think I don't want that? Like, just like, there is no more perfect answers than like what he's giving every time.
Her mom fucked her.
Yeah.
She thinks he doesn't want that because that men don't want women to be more successful than they are. Paige.
Yeah.
That's how they hold you down, Paige.
He is telling you everything that like, he's supporting you. He's telling you, you're doing great. Keep killing it out there. I got another store too. Let's just like try to maybe like, well, I want to know, maybe our events could be in the same place sometimes. Like that just takes a couple scheduling coordinators to help us out with that. You know, like we've got the money to hire that now. Like everything he's saying seems that way. And then I realized in that moment, the person that knows him best is her. And so she was leading us down this path that like, I thought like, this isn't turning out well for you, Paige. Like he's saying all the right stuff, but she just kept pressing. And she finally got him to say it. Well, I mean, if you stay this busy, I don't know how this could work out. And then it's the money shot when she gets him to ultimately say, I don't know how I became the submissive in this, like how I have to give up what I want. And like the word submissive is just such a hot button, gender role specific. Like, it's like she just wanted us to see. Yes, he'll go on to say later he was going to move to New York, but it would have been a thing forever. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. He would have made concessions, but it would have been the elephant in the room for the rest of my life that he made this giant sacrifice. And we don't live in Charleston and we're raising our family in a cement jungle with no yard and, you know, and whatever. And I just think that she really went the extra mile to show us this is who he is, you guys. Like, I just think that we saw what we needed to see and that like, no, this was supposed to end.
Well, that was going to be my question.
Oh.
Because I was going to say, but you walked me into you walked yourself into to answer.
Yeah,
God,
like when I was
top.
watching this scene, I was going, why is she being, I think I said this to you and I'm like, I'll save it for the show. But like, I think I said out loud to you, like, dude, Paige, chill out. He's telling you everything you want to hear.
But you know when you're having a conversation with someone and like when you were a kid and you're trying on outfits or whatever with your mom for back to school and you know you're pushing the envelope, but you just got into a fight about how she's too conservative with you or whatever it is. And so it's just like, yeah, you like these Daisy Dukes, right, Mom? And she's like, well, you've got great legs. And it's like, but you like the shorts, like just as the shorts, not even on me, you like them, right?
Yeah.
And she's just like, Levi's makes great pants.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, say it because you think this makes me look like a hussy and that chicks my age shouldn't be wearing this. Just say it because I know that's what you want to say.
Yeah.
And the entire time they were having that conversation, I was just getting the feeling that when you're with someone so long, whether it's your mom, your significant other, your best friend, you might walk in the house and be like, hey, how are you? And the other person could say, yeah, I'm fine. And you're like, oh boy. Yeah. You had a bad day. You are not fine. Tell me about it. And she knows his tells.
Yeah. But his everything, all of his answers were so perfect
but
for so long. But she knew.
She knows.
I'm going to keep going. Stay with me, you guys, because we'll
I
get
got
there.
a point. It's going to pay off.
But like no one else can do the word maneuvering that he can do. Like he's really good at it. And she's like, we'll keep going because you'll get there and we'll just keep going. And
he stays so calm.
Yeah.
But I think really at the end when she was just like, right, but I'm never going to want to live a slow life.
Yeah.
It's like she knows that even though he's been so patient with her, and he has, seemingly, it doesn't matter because you're waiting for a train that's never going to pull into the station.
Yeah. But like we could have easily not seen that. And she's like, I'm not leaving this restaurant until you say the things I've heard you say before, and you're gonna say them. Like if I just keep on going, I'll have one more drink, please. I'll eat the kangaroo. Fine, give me that kangaroo. Like
I feel like here's where we separate. I don't know if she was intentionally like, I don't know if she went into the dinner being like, I want to get this out there so all the world can see. But I do think that when they sat down and they started talking about it, she was like, you're not being 100% about this. I know this bothers you and you got to say it because I'm not going down like that.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that like she set up this whole dinner so that she could show America who we're really dealing with here.
Okay, got it.
I just know that she was watching his answers knowing they were perfect because they were literally everything. If he told me any of that, I'd be like, oh, he gets it. No, he's busy too. No, he just wants us to meet up. I want to meet up more. I want our schedules to align better too. I'm sure we could work on that. Yeah, priority. I love that. Like every single piece of that was great. And she was like, no.
But I'm living in the real world and we've talked about this 8,000 times and it's not going to happen because I have a 60 city tour.
Yeah.
And that means I can't get to Charleston as much and blah, blah, blah. And so we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now here's Mike to disagree with all of what we just said.
Like I said it before, like it's hard to watch this and like make a judgment on their dinner when you know this dinner happened however months ago and these people aren't together anymore. That being said, from the time Craig put what I called a full court press on her and said, oh, we're getting married, I'm moving to New York, we're having kids, no, we're working it out, it's been great, we've never been better, blah, 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 blah. I think, and there was a realization that I had watching them have dinner and watching Paige smirk the whole time. And every time she was trying to trick him or trap him or whatever you're alluding to, that I don't disagree. Like she had a little smirk on her face, right? I'm not shitting on him. Just, it was always like a grin and a smirk and a like, but. So it just occurred to me in that moment that like Craig's successful. He doesn't need you anymore. Craig doesn't need you anymore. He's tired of the being strung along that, maybe you'll move to Charleston. Maybe we'll buy a farm. Maybe we'll do that. Oh, you don't want to move he needed that for 2.5 years. Then his buddy called and was like, Craig, in 3 months, we're going to crack 100 million in revenue. Way to fucking go, dude. We did it. You stopped drinking. You stopped being an asshole. You stopped the shit with Austin.
You listened to everything.
You fucking nailed it.
Everything we told you.
And look we told you what was going to happen. We were going to make 100 million in revenue. Craig, we did it. We did it. It's giving me chills right now. So Craig at that moment was like, I can do it. I can do whatever I want. I don't need this girl. And I'm not being a dick. I'm not saying Craig was like, fuck her. Craig, he just had a realization that Craig Conover was good enough for whatever Craig Conover wanted. And that realization will then make you go, well, what do I want? I want this girl to move to Charleston and have babies. Hey, you ready? Well, because I don't, and and what if I'm busy? No, it's fine. It's fine. Well, but he just full court pressed her because he knew he didn't need her anymore. And so he was like, I'm laying it out. You coming or going? If you go, I don't care anymore. I'll be sad. I'll be whatever. But honestly, my PR dude says that like we'll milk this shit and spin it into another $100 million and another brand deal and fucking what's that chick from the Laguna Beach who I used to date? Like that. So that's what I thought about dinner was him realizing that and like finishing it and her also being like, oh, this dude doesn't need Paige DeSorbo anymore.
Are you breaking up with
Are you
me
breaking
in
up
an
in
Australian restaurant right now? Like there's a little bit of truth to every joke.
Yes.
You know?
She knew. She knows.
And when she says later on that it was mutual and he says she's lying.
It's not.
Well, no, because
I
he
think
said she fell out of love with me. She broke up with me. That's what he said.
Because that's what
right,
Craig
but then
Conover was told
she
to say.
said it was mutual. I think that the way that she framed it when they broke up is like, we have decided to no longer be together. And then Craig came out and was like, I didn't decide anything. She left me. This was news to me. I actually, one of the reasons I didn't want to talk about it at first is because like, I thought like, okay, you'll get back from your trip and we'll talk. Like, I just thought she's like calling me in like one of her Paige panics, you know, like because, you know, she kind of like has like moments, you know, like nothing wrong with that. And, but that's his side of the story is that's like, he just didn't even really think it was real. And like, she lied. It was not mutual. Like he literally says she lied on her podcast. I did not agree to this. This was not something that I wanted. And which I think he went a little overboard on that personally. Because I don't remember her saying he wanted this or it was mutual. I think her wording was, we decided to no longer be together. And then he spun it to, or took it to another level out of Craig doing the thing that Craig does maybe, or just in the moment of just being like, everyone is in that first initial moment of like, you know, just fuck, like, if you're ever going to be out of control, that's the moment.
That's the moment.
Yeah, that's going to happen. But for him to spin it that way or to just let it play out that way. Again, like I said, I am seeing Craig less as if he's, you know, this innocent puppy that I've been kind of treating him to be for a while, and just seeing him and more as like, he's a grown professional, businessman and actor. And like, just, he's a media personality. He's a brand.
So then who do you guys believe broke up with who? You think what?
I think Paige broke up with him. But I think it's because I don't think he wanted to break up. I think he wanted to get married to Paige and have kids and settle, like slow down just enough to live a happy life and family, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
In Charleston. He knew, he eventually found out that that wasn't happening. But he might not have been successful enough to feel confident that he could live life without her. And then that day came. And then it was like, all right, I'm so like, you could argue that he forced her hand. I don't even think you could argue that. That is what he did.
You think that's,
he forced her hand. He said, let's go. And she was like, but I'm busy. And I had the tour and the thing. And then if you ask me tomorrow, and he's like, that's fucking right.
And what do you think, Nat?
And she broke up with him because she got scared and realized, like, I've been leading this dude on for 3 years. Everyone in the whole world knows I never wanted to fucking do this. It's time. He knows it. I know it. He doesn't need me anymore. He's full court pressing me. Shit. I'm not going to do it. I got to bail. And she bailed.
Yeah. I think that it was ultimately her decision. While he didn't want to break up, he was not going to be led around by and be in the submissive role anymore.
Yeah.
Like he really did see himself as like, not only did I never see myself being in the submissive role, I never saw myself being 100 millionaire and in a submissive, like those two, like, no, like that, this shit's changing today. I'm going to tell her what we're going to do. And then she was like, we're not going to do that. So he gave her the rope to not hang herself, but he pushed her hand, I think, pushed her to make the call. And then, and so now he can be the one that got broken up with. And, but yeah, I think it was oddly mutual, but not mutual. Like, like you can play it like it wasn't because like she made the call, you know?
I don't know now. I got nothing.
But it's like so interesting to to think about just like the dynamic of people where they started and how much they have used, not when I say used each other, I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean like they were the reason that they catapulted each other. They
used each other to keep stepping up.
Yeah.
It's like, you're on my shoulder now, you're on mine.
They did it all together. Neither of them would be where they are today. They might have gotten there at some point, but in the amount of time that they did and the level that they did, had it not been for the two of them together. And then he let her end it. Because he didn't need her anymore. He certainly wasn't going to be submissive.
I don't know if I agree with I think Paige would have gotten to where she is no matter without Craig.
No, that's what I said. I just meant in the amount of time Like there is something about celebrity couples. You get photographed more, you get deals more.
Twice the pleasure, double the pleasure, double the fun.
People are watching you. People are invested in you. Where they're watching the love story. They're relating to you in your girlfriend role. Like there's I'm sorry. Like I will never agree. Like I think that Paige could do literally anything she wanted. I do believe that in the amount of time that she got there, it just would have been a little bit harder to do on her own.
It just supercharged her.
Yeah,
she was going to do it anyway. It just gave her a little boost.
Yeah, a little nitrous.
Let me throw this out at you.
Oh, God.
What if it didn't? Like just hypothetically having a conversation. What if it didn't? What if it extended it a year and a half or two? Because she was with this doofus for 2 years. Like Craig was a doofus for 2 years.
He hasn't been. Like, no.
I'm just saying, like what if she wasn't? What if she never got with Craig? What if she was with the Italian guy? What if she was like, no, I'm focused on my business, and that was her thing? Maybe a year. Maybe Giggly Squad pops off in a year and a half.
If he was willing to be in the public eye, if whoever she's.
But where's her $60 million deal? Where's Giggly Squad's podcast deal? They still don't have it. So like all I'm saying, and I don't know.
I thought you were telling me last week that you said that Hannah's richer than.
No, I didn't. Kyle said that. They asked Kyle who's got a deeper bank account, Hannah or Craig. I think
I know that she did the Netflix special, but I can't imagine that paid her like
true, but like it's
$1 jillion. Like so. Anyways, all I'm saying is,
she also tours a lot. Like,
I don't. So you're saying that she could have gotten there faster without?
No, he's saying what if Craig held her back?
Hypothetical.
Oh, because I don't believe that. Because she cleaned Craig up pretty quick. Craig snapped to it.
I think
pretty quick on the Paige
Craig
Sorbo
benefited from Paige 100%. You're saying that they both benefited from each other. I said I'm not sure. I think Paige probably would have been fine in the same amount of time.
Not the same amount of time.
Yeah, I don't. So that's what I said. And now all I'm saying is just as a hypothetical, what if Craig being Craig, an alcoholic for a while, kind of a doofus, not quite have his shit together, Willy won't he with the law school and the business and what if that held him? Like what if Paige and Hannah would have blown up a year without Craig? You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking that. Like, obviously, you don't think that because you think that
I don't
Craig
think
helped Paige get to his spot.
And, like, even though they maybe don't, I don't know what their deal is with Giggly, but, like, the fact that they hosted that party that they did for the Oscars, like, it was an after party, Paige and Hannah could host the Oscars. Like, in the net, like they're on the trajectory to be an Amy Poehler, like a new age Amy Poehler, Tina Fey. Like they're just the modern, it's a podcast world now. It's not a TV world, like it's like, so I just don't know if they would have gotten there because Hannah is very unkempt, like I like Hannah, but Hannah's just like
she's a bit more polarizing than Paige is.
And she's just like even when she went to that Dave Portnoy podcast, I feel like she was in like basketball shorts and a gray T-shirt, like that.
But that's her thing. Like I'm from
but
Brooklyn,
she's not hosting the Oscars party.
Vanity Fair after party.
They hosted the Vanity Fair after party.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hannah's never looked better. You should like look at the photos. It's incredible. But
I didn't know they had hosts.
Yeah,
I thought Vanity Fair was the host.
I did not either.
Yeah, maybe it's a new thing they're doing, or maybe.
And then she got in trouble. Hannah, of course, got in trouble because she said something that, of course, everyone thought was racist, which I didn't really understand, but I did and I didn't. Okay.
Okay, I want to look at what she looked like.
They both looked phenomenal.
Oh, I'm sure.
But like Paige, obviously we knew she would, but Hannah just went a new level.
She apologized, Nat, for her backlash. Anyway, I'll look it up when we're not recording.
Anyway, so now we wait for the Kyle Craig showdown, which like I don't know, I could be shocked, I suppose, but I can't imagine it will go well for Kyle.
Same. Oh my God, do you know what we forgot?
What?
The person who's literally going to be forgotten all season. Emerald.
Oh God.
He is. And I'm joking that we forgot him. I purposefully wasn't bringing up that, okay, great. You slept with 2 people. You had weird sunglasses on. Like, he's one of the fails, the casting fails, for sure. He's not going to be on next
he's
season.
a fail. And they keep talking about how his backstory is going to, like, make it where, like, oh, now you understand where he came from.
I understand.
You were an immigrant. You got married, like, for love, but also nice.
Helpful that it could help you.
You got to become a citizen or whatever it is to let you stay here. And then
we get it.
And you were a Muslim, and and now you're banging half of Manhattan. Like I don't
all of and into the tri-state. Like
I'm not impressed by any of your backstory. This is like, we live in Los Angeles. Everyone is fucking immigrant until they're not. And
banging half of
the city.
State.
Yeah. And in real estate. Like, show me something new. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And by the way, like, he doesn't seem like a bat. Like when he's in his interview, like he's explaining things in a thoughtful way, but not. It is one of those casting misfires that I had said with Chris was a casting misfire.
Yeah.
There were some other ones, but I think is going to fall into that bucket.
Yeah.
But they got 2 winners last year.
I don't mean to say like, oh, everyone's an immigrant till they're not. I don't mean to like make light of like what it takes to become a citizen, but like, you got married. There's a lot of people here that have to do a hell of a lot more than that.
Or if it was this harrowing thing, like, tell us more about that than the sex swing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
Yeah, I just like, cool. I don't hate you. I just don't know why you're here.
Same. I don't hate you at all. I just am like, can we just, the way they scrubbed what's her face off, can we scrub Imrul off?
Yeah.
He's bringing nothing. He's offers nothing.
No, but that would be,
And then even when he came outside by the pool, sorry, because it is such a nothing burger and we really don't need to talk about it, but Kyle's like, oh, Imrul, now would be a good time for you to tell your backstory to everyone. I'm
like it was going to make it all make sense.
This is so ox.
Yeah. He looks like AC Slater.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He looks like a Middle Eastern AC Slater.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you're not even wearing peg jeans. You're not even wearing
Z Cavaricis.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do better.
Yeah. We love you guys. And we also love Summer House.
Yeah. And we'll see you for Southern Charm.
I'm going back to work.
We did it at 2 hours and 30 minutes exactly. I love that. There's something so satisfying about it. Okay, I'm going to bed. I love everyone.
What am I having for food?
Oh, here you go. Go nuts.
I already had like 2,000 nuts today.
I did.
When you buy a family size.
You don't have a family.